right. GM, my brothers and sisters in Christ, you're looking good today. Can you hear me all right? Totally, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear
Yo,
you
I hear you
fine.
great. Oh,
Great.
yeah, I hear you great.
Love it.
My brothers and sisters in Christmas. No, all right. So this is my first time streaming. So I got everything set up. I was testing some stuff over the weekend, and I had done some stuff with StreamYard before during the pandemic when I was producing some like virtual theater performances. So I'm pretty familiar with the platform of StreamYard. But this is the first time that I'm ever streaming myself personally as a regular Joe, if you will. But thank you so much for being here, everybody. Welcome to Test Flight Bearish Builder Sprint. This is the first day. There's going to be multiple days of workshops from Scotty and Toli and Scotty's friend Raymar, and the whole goal of this week is to just kind of show folks the tools that are out there for AI coding, to kind of put some tools in your hands so that you can kind of go to work with some ideas that you might have, whether you're working as an individual or working with a group of other bears as a team, to kind of build together, build something, deploy it, and potentially we'll have some really cool, interesting ideas, web apps, mini games, things like that will come out of this week. And we'll reward those folks who submit at the end of the week. Some of the prize pool. We got a $3,000 USD prize pool of different things. So we really encourage you to ask questions, to be just inquisitive about everything, and really try to just kind of push yourself. Take a few, maybe an hour a day, mess around with some of the tools, and share as you're going along. Share on X and Discord, as you're kind of building through this week with us, and alone. And we're gonna be relaunching our X community here this week as well, with the help of Marianne, and some other folks on her team. So that'll be a place where you can also share things that you're building, as we're kind of like just taking this idea of like kind of building in public or just kind of sharing our things across the timeline. So should be a pretty fun week. Totally. Is there any announcements that you have before we start
Uh,
vibing?
I don't think I have any announcements. I just, just to, echo what you said. I think this is going to be something really interesting, very different from what's ever existed before, right? A community of builders, like it's usually meant like you got a couple developers in there, which is cool. That's awesome. But like to have people to teach people, you're going to teach them today about vibe coding, like coding with AI, basically using natural language to make your ideas come to life. It's going to be cool. And again, it's something that hasn't really existed before. So excited to dive into it. Um, are you recording this? Are you recording this? Is this going to be available? I think you're muted.
Yeah, everything should be recorded, and then we'll share the recordings on YouTube and in Discord once the sessions end. StreamYard automatically records things, so I think we should be good there. Just
Yeah.
double check that.
I'm
But
we're going to
go ahead.
create a Medium article for all of these things that like it'll have basically step by step plus the video at the top you can watch, but step by step, like getting started and all the stuff Carlos going to talk about, myself tomorrow, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, some people said it's lagging a little bit. Hopefully, hopefully the recording won't lag and you'll be able to watch that without any issues. But yeah, so basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit of my working flow. This is everything that you can do here today is in a browser, which I think is really cool. Like if you're traveling or if you just don't want to have to download any kind of apps on your computer, everything that you can do today, if you want to follow along, you're more than welcome to. You could do it in a browser, and with just an email address if you prefer. One of the things I like to recommend to get started is to set up a GitHub account. The reason for that is because it gives you a single place where that you can put your code that you create a repository. You can invite collaborators. So if you're working with somebody or you happen to bring on a dev to help clean up your code, it gives them a way for you to access that code base and then they can add updates to it as well and push it out to deploy it to production. So it's really easy to sign up. You just sign up with like an email address, set your password and things like that. Pretty quick and easy. The reason why I say set up a GitHub first is because when you go to what I like to use, which is v0.dev, it's by Versal. This is an AI browser based. They actually do an amalgamation of different AI bots to help with building. And it has a lot of things that you can do, like importing Figma. You can also add in any kind of files, like if you have a logo or buttons or things that you want to have for UI. It has a pretty great tool set here built in. Just some examples of things that people have created using v0.dev. Again, you can sign up with an email address, or if you have your GitHub account created, you can actually connect them together, which is why I recommend starting up your own GitHub first, and then logging in or signing up for Versal v0.dev with your GitHub account. But if you don't want to get into the weeds too much, you can also continue with an email address, Gmail, whatever, and set that up later. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to go over to my Versal. So I'm going to share a different stream here. Right, great. All right, so this is my my Versal account. I already have my GitHub set up. I use this to build all the stuff that I build when I'm vibe coding. One of the things that I recommend doing here is if you're working on multiple different things, is always to create a new project. A new project is basically going to give you a new chat window that you can chat with the AI bots in order to kind of build what you're looking for. Some of the other things that you might want to do if you're looking at like doing any kind of integrations with Abstract for this, there is on the Abstract page. That's the Explorer page. You will need that for the actual chain. But on the developers drop down, there's a doc section, and this gives you an introduction on all of their documentation when it comes to connecting wallets to Abstract for your apps and things like that. So if I click on that, for example, it gives me all the information about how to connect to mainnet, to testnet. If you want to add a button to your website to have it say, connect to the wallet. There's a lot of different things that you can use here for your applications. They have like Ether support. They've got VM, third web. Don't worry about all that stuff. But what I will say is, if you're looking at implementing or integrating any kind of Web3 stuff, or your APIs or things like that, you can actually kind of copy and paste some of this stuff into the Versal chat, and it will actually kind of read some of that information. You're teaching it how to use it essentially, and then it will create create those things that you're looking for. So for example, I've got this, and I'll share it with you later. I've got essentially copy. I've got a way to kind of bring in all that AGW stuff into this Versal. So this is a bunch of stuff like I want to create an AGW wallet connect on this website. And you're using basically natural text and language to tell this AI bot what you want. So for example, let's say we're gonna do, this is basically saying, I want you to look at the AGW Wallet Connect GitHub. So it has all the Connect kit and stuff like that. We're going to add Abstract as a supported network. You don't have to use Bearish in there. I'm going to take that out since supported networks, since this game will be on Abstracts. And I'll say Abstract mainnet. So there's a bunch of other things in here that came from that documentation, like telling you to wrap your application in a wallet provider. But again, this is all just kind of copy and paste stuff from their documents. You don't really need to know what this is, other than the fact that it's essentially going to say to the bot, I want to add a AGW wallet connect, and I want that to set up. So we'll do that. But we'll go ahead and set that up first. So all I can do is go in here and I'll just go ahead and hit start. So what it's going to do is going to create a web app that has a wallet integration for Abstract. Really quick and simple. It's going to think through what all the processes that it needs to do. And then in real time, it's going to start writing the code for you. And it'll kind of actually educate you along the way. So now it's going through and writing all the code that's needed and necessary. So it's giving me a layout. It's giving me the providers for all the Web Connect, the Wallet Connect information. It's just writing all that code for me. And it gives you in that conversation, when it's done, it'll tell you what it's going to do. So it's like, I'm integrating Abstract Global Wallet with Next.js. So it's going to create an application. It's going to add that Abstract mainnet support for my game. And it's going to do it all step by step. And you can actually watch the code as it's being created, which is really cool. The thing that I love about v0.dev is that it allows you to preview the code without having to deploy it. So what does that mean? It means that it's going to give me a real-time preview of what this website's going to look like. It's going to be pretty basic, just because I didn't give it any stylings or logo or anything like that. But it has the ability, as you're kind of looking through this, there's this select button here where you can select different areas. And maybe you want to do a quick change to that. You can just type in, hey, I want to update this to a different font, or I want to change the color. You can apply a quick change there, and then it'll send it into the chat and update it. So you can do it in different areas like that. Apply some quick changes here. You can also open this up in a new tab. If you do this, it's going to open up a new browser tab with the website in it. This is actually, it's not gated in any way. So if you're working with a collaborator, you can actually send this link to them, and they can look at it on their instance without having to deploy it. Essentially, it's kind of a soft deploy, if you will. So let's check to see how the bot did. All right, I connect. I don't know if you can see that, but it popped up the privy for me, so I can show that really quickly. Let's see, make sure. There we go. So it popped up the privy for me, so I'm going to go ahead and improve it. And then I'm going to go back to share. All right. So now it logged me in, tells me my wallet address, and it just created some simple stuff for this website. So it had something in it, but basically it has a send. So it just automatically created a send function so that I can send somebody some ETH from my wallet. So pretty cool. But as you can see, I've got some styling issues here. This disconnect button is hard to see, so I can go back in and make modifications to the UX and UI design. But I'll go ahead and disconnect that for now. So as you can see, quick and easy. That took like 2 minutes to deploy a simple website powered by Abstract Mainnet. And that is like, it's not fully deployed, so it's still in that kind of private URL, but you can still share it with somebody if you wanted to test it out. You've got this code preview here as well, so you can go back into the code if you want to kind of educate yourself on how things are. You can also make edits here and save it if you wanted to edit the code yourself.
I don't think we can see the screen.
Oh, no? Oh, shoot. Okay, let me... Good. Let me stop there. Thank you for that. It's one of those things where I got to go back to the private chat. Okay. That should pop it up again here in a second. Bring it back. All right. So I'm back in my chat. But like I said, if you wanted to look at the code, there's this code function here. You can go through, you can make edits to this if you want to get into that, or you can continue chatting with your helper. As you can see, it tells me what it did. It implemented the Abstract Wallet Provider, Wallet Connect. It added a transaction functionality that I didn't ask for, a balance display, responsive UI. And then it will say, if you want to implement your game into this, you can kind of start integrating these next components. So we'll talk about that in a second. It's not fully deployed, but there is a deploy button here. If you have a Versal.com account, you can actually deploy it to Versal, and it'll set it up, and you can have your own dedicated URL, custom URL for it. So all that stuff can be done. You can also share this. So you can share this code to anybody that's on Versal. You can also download it. So you can download this as a zip file. It'll download all of your code, and you can upload that into a repository on GitHub. That's another thing you can do it. You can also publish it to the Versal community if you want. And if you are using like Virtual Studio Code, you can actually run a command within there, and it'll actually kind of pull this code into your desktop version of any code software that you're using. Maybe you're doing something like VS Code and Cursor. You can actually take this and add that code base to your desktop setup. You can also, if you run into any issues, like I'm talking with this bot and I got it to the point and then I broke it, right? You can go back to a previous instance and fork it, and that basically creates a copy of the last working version. And then it creates a new chat that you can go back and start working on it again and try to get it back to where you want it to be. So there's lots of different tools within the v0.dev that I love. And those are some of them. I've had to fork things a couple times because I've gone pretty wild with some of the coding and the requests, and it would mess up, and then I would have to go find the last working version that I was happy with, and then fork it, and then start over. So there's some good stuff there. You can also upvote and things like that. And if it ever lags, you can always retry, and it'll just kind of rewrite the code to get it complete. So I'm gonna check I love forks. I'm gonna check the chat really quickly. So much forking to see if there's any comments.
So
yeah, go ahead, Jolie.
So in like 2 minutes, and was it just one message or like a couple messages that you sent that
was one?
All right, yeah. So from one message, it created this, which is like, yeah, like it's a simple design, but it's good design, right? And like it's got the full functionality, right? So like this is, I think the cool thing about like V0 compared to some of these other platforms, like we're going to be talking about Cursor tomorrow, Replit on Wednesday, is that like you don't ever have to look at the code, right? Like there's this like preview window, which is awesome, right? Like really, really good for, I think, like people of all, skill levels. So, yeah. And like the selector thing that you just showed, to be able to select a specific component and like say something to change that, that's awesome, right? Because a lot of us are not going to go into the CSS file and find that, or even if you put it into the general chat here, it might fuck some stuff up, right? Like it might think it might not be sure exactly what it is that you want to do, and it might mess something up and you have to revert, etc.
Yeah, it's actually pretty I mean, I like this selector tool because it's very specific. It tells the bot exactly what you want to change. But if I wanted to say, like, I'm just going to copy this, change the main text, I'll just put it in parentheses, abstract mainnet game, to be in a different font. You could probably even say the font. So let's just say, I don't even know what that is, but let's say Arial, and change to trivia game. So I didn't do it from here. I just did it right in the main chat. So it's going to start thinking what it needs to do, and then it's going to go through and update the code based on my request. Some people like to say please and thank you. So now it just updated it to trivia game. This is probably Arial, but it was probably Arial before. So that was the only thing I could think of off the top of my head. But it will make those updates. It's pretty smart. It'll look through and try to find when it's thinking. So I'm gonna see if there's any questions here. Change. Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. So let's add some gaming components to this. So let's say, all right, now I want to create a trivia game. And then you just kind of just describe what you want, right? Describe what it is, what kind of mechanics you want to have if you're making a mini game. This is going to be a web app game. It's going to be kind of a casual gaming thing. It's not going to have a lot of fancy bells and whistles in terms of animations or things like that. Um, but you can also drop in files here. So if I had like a logo and I had maybe a GIF or some images or stuff like that, I can tell it to use these things as well, and it'll store it into essentially into a blob for you to then have it hosted without having to put in a bunch of links and stuff like that. So I want to create a trivia game. The user signs in with their wallet and then can start up a game. I've attached, this is the boring part, I've attached a logo for the header and a berry.gif file for berry placement. Whenever I mention berry, like you can just do whatever, and I'm just doing like random stuff. All right, the trivia game needs 100 questions, 100, let's say, random questions with multiple choice answers. The questions, let's see, the questions should be pop culture and famous bear questions. The user must answer 69 questions correctly to claim a pot of a jackpot. Let's do jackpot. Jackpot of berry at the end. They have 6.9 seconds to answer the question, answer each question or fail if time runs out. If they enter a wrong answer, they fail and the game ends and they have to start over. If they enter a wrong answer or time runs out, question. All right, so let's just see what that does. So it's going to go through, it's going to start thinking about what I just said. So I'm trying to create a trivia game where everybody has to answer 69 questions correctly to claim a jackpot of berry. Like, this is not going to have any berry integrations, but it's going to give some sample questions, going to give some sample multiple choice answers. But it starts to build out what that mechanics for this trivia game is going to be. So it thought for 6 seconds. So it's telling me I'm going to create a complete trivia game that integrates with the Abstract Wallet and includes all the features you requested. So they're building it step by step. So it's going to just kind of do some random questions. Looks like, let's see, probably creating, look at all the questions it's creating. So I don't even have to go and research a bunch of questions. It's going and just creating a bunch of questions and answers. Again, this will be a little different because you'll want to, if you're doing something like this, you'll kind of want to guard that type of information from being kind of exposed. But that's a problem for another time. Right now, we just want to create a fun trivia game that people can play. So pretty cool. It's going to take a little bit longer because I asked it for 100 questions. It's just kind of going through, continue with more questions. So it's going through. Don't look at the answers because we'll have to have the surprises later. All right. Cool. So I'm going to read while it's coding. I'm going to read the chat, make sure everything's cool. 6.9 seconds. Yeah, I think that's probably an appropriate thing. You could make a GitHub account. Check the Abstract docs if you want to integrate Abstract. I'm using Versal, which is v0.dev. This will be recorded. You don't need a GitHub account. If you just want to play around with v0.dev, you can sign up with an email address and just start chatting with the bot. What I will say is if you start with one idea, and you're going to stop doing that and do another one, go ahead and create a new project. Always create a new project for each new idea. Otherwise, you'll get into a point where they might start to merge the ideas together into the chat, right? Because you want to have separate chats for each project that you're building. So that's just one of those things that I recommend. And as you can see right now, it's coding version 3. But if you go back, you can see version 1, version 2. You can always go back to that code and fork it. So if this is messed up for some reason, I can try to fix it, or I can go in and fork it off. Okay, so now it's created version 3. I am going to connect with my abstract wallet, approve and sign in. And now I've got a bearish trivia challenge. So I'm going to test my knowledge of bears and pop culture. And I've got 6.9 seconds to answer each question. One wrong answer and the game is over. If time runs out, the game is over. So I'm going to go ahead and start the game. All right. I got 6.5 seconds. All right. The bear song? I don't know. Little Bear. Incorrect. Game over. So as you can see,
you got to answer all 69 correctly.
Yeah, you got to answer all 69 correctly. Polar bear. If you go to the website, you're ready for a big surprise. Nope. So these are all bearish trivia challenge. But as you can see, that took literally 6 minutes to build.
I love how clean, like, decided to make the UI, just that like little progress bar that goes down. That's like, I love, that it just like made those design decisions for you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, it will do that. And then if you wanted to say, like, if you wanted to do some design stuff with it, you could, because it was originally built for UI UX, kind of like a Figma type scenario. But then they've been adding additional resources to it to actually create full-fledged websites and web apps and things like that. And then also having that deployment function as well. So if I open this in a new tab, I can share this tab instead. And I can see it in full view. You can also, as you're looking at it, you can send it to yourself and try to see what it looks like in a mobile view, so that in a smaller window what that would look like. Because I think it's always important if you're making something to think about desktop view and mobile view, and it does a pretty good job with kind of that dynamic coding on the interface there. So I'm going to switch back to this tab. So like I said, I just made a really quick and easy game with v0.dev in probably 8 minutes. Obviously it could use some more improvements. Maybe you want to add a leaderboard, or maybe you want to add further integrations and things like that. You can do that. But now you've got a working example that you can share with somebody. Maybe you want to bring on an additional graphic designer or an additional dev to actually kind of clean up the code and deploy it. You have something that you can show them as a proof of concept, a working proof of concept that gets your idea visually displayed, as well as something that they can use, and it'll speed up that process of getting a full game or getting a full web app deployed. Because they'll it's not just like a slideshow. It's not just a presentation. It's not just like a talking about your idea. It's actually something that they can visually mess around with, right? So if you wanted to go into this and say, hey, I want to change the background color. I want to change. Let's do that. Let's do change the background color to a gradient from dark blue to dark green. You can ask it to do, kind of that UI stuff as well. So any kind of changes visually, or if you had some buttons that you want to use instead, if you want to change button colors, you can kind of just tell it what to do, and it will make those edits for you. So there you go. Now we got a different look and feel for it. So see what the game looks like in this color. But again, the one thing that I do love about it is because you can preview the code right away, you know that what you need to do to make your next changes, right? No. Okay. I'm not going to be very good at this game. Apparently, I don't know my bear trivia. Well, I should probably brush up on that before NFT NYC. Tully, what do you want to do?
Can you make it so it's just 3 questions and you get the berry just to see what that like?
Oh, sure.
Looks like.
Let's change the amount of questions.
And maybe like a berry counter as well. So every time they do the quiz, maybe it goes up. Every time they complete 3, it'll go up, 1 berry. And maybe show people like to spend that berry, on something would be cool too.
So to win is to win from 69 questions, which I still want to do, to 3 questions
at a time.
At a time. Let's add a berry counter.
So this will be attached. This will be attached like their AGW wall. So they connected that, right?
Yes.
And is that gonna like persist across like sessions? So if they like leave and come back, log back in, could it save those berries for next time?
It potentially could, yeah. I mean, we'd have to tell it to do that. We also don't have any integration into this yet with berry, but it could persist in sessions. Yeah, exactly.
Just berry.
Give the user 1 berry per question answered correctly. What else do you want to add? Add a leaderboard with, we'll just add a leaderboard page as well. All right. So it's going to go ahead, think through those changes, and thought for 3 seconds. I mean, this is faster than Scott probably.
Scott's pretty fast, but I don't know if he's that fast.
Yeah, this is pretty fast.
Question. So while this is generating here, so you mentioned that V0 was initially used as a way to generate UI, user interface, like the look of stuff, but they've now, like, you can actually do the back end and stuff like this too, which is awesome.
Oops.
Have you played much with like straight just UI generation, like using examples from other websites? Can you just upload a screenshot of a of a website you like, and it'll try to duplicate that, or how does that process?
I've done that. I've tried to do that before. It's hit or miss. Sometimes you'll actually get a pretty close facsimile, but it would work better if you were able to actually download the assets that they use to provide that as an example, right? So if you actually had like the background image, like I can throw in a background image and make the background of this page just by dragging and dropping an image in. So I've got like,
I don't think you're sharing it. I don't think you're sharing the window.
Oh shoot! Oh, sorry. 1 second. Sorry, I'm getting used to this. So thank you for bearing with me. Should pop up here in a second. It's going through the code. I might have had some resource issues on my end. Close this. But what I'll do is I'll provide just kind of like a quick recap of what I did here in text form as well. So I'll share kind of like my copy pasta for the abstract wallet integration, because I know it works with v0.dev.
You can put that in the Medium article.
Yeah, we can put that in a Medium article. We'll wrap it up. But yeah, let's see what this new game looks like. Hopefully it didn't have too many issues with all the things I requested. Okay, cool. All right, so we got a berry counter up here, which is cool. There's also a leaderboard.
And it came up with that all by itself, the leaderboard idea, right?
I asked for a leaderboard.
Oh, I see.
But it has no entries yet, but we'll see if it updates. So I'm going to connect my abstract wallet. Approve. All right. So like, as you can see, there's some things that might need some fixing in terms of that, but I can, select this and say, give me a better, better display here or something like that. And this is a disconnect button. I should update that as well. All right. So I'm going to start the game. Jack Will's teddy bear. Nope. Okay. Try again. This is going to be bad. This is really
hard.
bad. This is teddy bear. All right. So it added one. Charmin is a wait. What? Charmin bear. Okay. Stealing baskets. Yogi the bear. All right. So congratulations. I completed the challenge. I got 3 berries. I can play again.
The counter at the top. Oh,
it didn't because I left, but
it's got the leaderboard, which is great.
It's got the leaderboard, so it started to, and it's track my wallet, right? So these are the little things that it added by itself. Now I could say, hey, keep track of my berries at the top for each time I play. I could also say, maybe make this linkable, link the wallet to the Explorer, so that people can actually look at the wallet if they wanted to. But yeah, so it basically, it's kind of gone through and created, much of the things that I've asked for already. And like, yeah, so there's this disconnect button, the connect abstract wallet button. I could ask for it to say maintain the session across all the pages. Maintain, yeah, so we'll just do that right now. Maintain user login session across all pages. Match the disconnect button stylings to the connect wallet button. It did update my 3 berries at the top now.
Nice.
At the top, remove the wallet address text and the connected with abstract wallet text. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll put these in quotation marks just in case. So maybe it'll find it sooner. All right, cool. Let's see if it does those changes now. It's thinking.
And so,
yeah.
And so, are you going to show us once like this is to a place that like we're satisfied with? Are you going to show how to actually deploy this and like get other people to do this trivia thing and compete too? Sweet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would probably spend, like, we can take this simple version and share it for sure. I would probably spend maybe another hour or so just kind of fine tuning everything. But we can look at that in this session just because we're allotted an hour for this. So looks like it updated my disconnect button, which is great. Now it looks better. I can see it. So I start the game. I have no idea who this is. Sugar Puff cereal. Sugar Bear. No. Okay. Only you can prevent forward. Smokey the Bear. Teddy Bear. I got 2 berries. Okay, I'm gonna try again.
Okay, so you get a berry for everyone that you
I get.
Good.
That's probably better.
It's friendly.
I did not watch Breaking Bad. Sorry. Paddington Bear. Yeah, no. Kung Fu Panda. No. All right. So if I go to view the leaderboard, didn't save it. Maybe because I didn't finish. Yeah. So there's things that probably need to continue to update. All right. But let's say I want to deploy this. So I could deploy this and I'll just click the deploy button. It's going to deploy it to Versal. It's going to create basically a page. It's going to build it out. You can configure a custom domain. So if you wanted to go to essentially, if I wanted to name this like bear trivia.versal.app or something like that, I could, and then I can redirect it or put it on its own domain once it's deployed. But it's going to deploy this now. Hopefully
Are there extra costs for deploying it and hosting, or what does that look like?
So what I would recommend, if this looks like something that you want to utilize and you're going to do a lot of it, what I would recommend is getting the premium, which is $20 a month, and that will cover unlimited chats, essentially, unlimited requests in here, and then also will help with the you'll have a Versal account, a Versal.com account that you can utilize for hosting. You can utilize for setting up blobs. You can utilize for if you need to kind of store any kind of environment variables. What are environment variables? They're essentially ways to make any API keys private, things like that you might be utilizing if you are using an API for hosting or for Drip or Heroku or Simple Hash or any of those things. You'll want to hide your API key from the public from the public seeing it, so they don't steal your API key and then run up any costs on yours. But you can use environment variables. If I had something that was using an API in here, I could ask the chat, can you display a simple hash environment variable box for me to enter my API key? If you type that into this chat, it'll actually show it to you. You can paste in your API key, and it'll save it into your environment variables on Versal. So this has been deployed. So I can click on here. I can visit the site. So as you can see, it's got this just generic name .versal. I can make a kind of a custom and make this bearish trivia. Actually, I should probably share this tab instead. But as I mentioned, it kind of just gives you whatever the chat was as the name of the Versal app. But this is deployed to Versal now. So I can take this and share it in here, and anybody can mess around with it.
I don't know if the abstract live stream chat will actually allow you to share a link. You might have to update your description or something.
Sure. I'll drop it. Maybe drop it in Discord
or add it as a thread to your tweet about this event.
Okay.
People can go there and yeah, I don't think links will work.
All right, and let's say we just built this in 8 minutes. There's roughly 8 minutes, right? 8-10 minutes. Yeah. We'll say 10 minutes. 8 sounds, or 6.9 minutes, right? All right. It's, if you want to look at it, it's on my Twitter underneath my post about today. What's the name of the tool Carlo used? The name of the tool is v0.dev. Someone connect their wallet to see if the integration works. Yeah, go ahead for it. Go for it. It's going to be Abstract Global Wallet. Let's see if I can edit the description here. Browsing a dream. All right, I'm going to update my description. Maybe you can copy and paste it there. Doesn't look great. All right. Florida, thanks.
You could even have it, if you're sharing this stuff to social media, it's important to think about that image, that like social share image, right? And so that's even something that you could code in and be like, hey, I want to share this on Twitter. Let's make sure the social share image looks good, right? Just generate an image based on this background and put the logo in the center and relevant information on that. Boom, and then it'll just make that sense.
You could you basically just tell it. If you want to know where it's at, it's in the code. But as you can see, there's a lot of areas here. But it would be in the metadata for it. But if you say
update, you're sharing the other screen here. There you go.
Yeah, right. It would be in the code. I gotta get better on this switching tabs situation. I thought it would just share everything, but I did the wrong setting, I guess. Update social sharing metadata to use this image. You can drag and drop an image in, and oops, metadata. and description should be build this shiz in 6.9 minutes. So it'll go through and update the code for that. Any other questions? I got 69 people watching. That's awesome.
Hey, let's go.
Nobody leave. Nobody join. We're good. So what do you think, Toli? What do you think of this?
Yeah, so it's my first time seeing somebody build with v0.dev. It's very I just, I love how beginner friendly it is. You don't ever have to look at the code. And the fact that it starts with good UI, I think for beginners is awesome. Right? The fact that it already is trained on, good user interfaces and it can just create that from scratch is awesome, right? So definitely very beginner friendly. I mean, like you click deploy, there's a single button that you pressed and you got a link to share. That's awesome, right? I think as a, I'm actually going to be playing more with V0 a bit more. So just to like, there's a lot of these things that are like abstracted away, right? You don't have to think about a database, right?
Right.
It'll handle a lot of the UI stuff for you. That like little selector thing, awesome. And you can just create stuff, right? Like could be little games like this. Could be, like solutions to business problems, right? You've got a big spreadsheet with a lot of data and, you want to, there's nothing out there that lets you properly work with it. And so you just want to, to be able to upload a CSV and have it create charts and graphs and that stuff, for you to put together a slide or presentation for work, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's got a lot of use cases, and because it was built initially for UI UX design, it treats that pretty well. Like you mentioned, it gives pretty clean, pretty clean UI. But then you can also continue to fine tune it with anything that you might create, any kind of buttons or background menu items, things like that you want to add to it. It's going to take care of that as well. So I really like it. It's quick and easy. Like I said, we built this game in like 6 minutes, 6.9 minutes. I'm just gonna go with that for now. And yes, I keep looking up because I needed 2 screens to manage the. Yeah, you can theme it specifically. Yeah, for sure, Scotty. I needed the double screens, and I have a screen up here. It's an old flat screen TV that I put up on my wall because during baseball season, when I'm working at my desk, I put baseball games up here, and I watch the games while I'm working. And I decided, well, I'll just use this as a second monitor for the abstract page and for the StreamYard page, so that I can focus here on the V0 browser window. So that's why I keep looking up. I'm sorry. Thank you for tipping 6 point, a lot of zeros, 30609 420. Baseball is good. Baseball been very, very good to me. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what I wanted to show. I just deployed that latest version.
Carlo, we have we created a builders chat area in our Discord. Do we want to start to route people over there? There's like like specifically for this sprint, there's like an announcement area. There's a resources page where we're going to be sharing stuff in there, and in a chat. So you can go in that chat and ask your questions, and we'll be around to help. I mean, pretty much all day we'll pop in and out.
Yeah, for sure. Is it open right now?
It's private right now, but I can open it up to everybody.
Yeah, let's open it up.
Okay, perfect.
And I'll look in the chat here on. Excuse me while I'm looking up. Do we have brand assets for Bearish that we can get out there? I mean, we could share our brand assets if you want, Toli. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
We've got that public brand drive file.
Right. Let me think about this. People probably need like logos and stuff.
Yeah, and also you don't necessarily need to.
Real quick. I'll organize that and I'll share it in the resources channel.
And for this week, you don't necessarily need to build anything that's bearish themed or, anything like that. So if you have an idea for a mini game or web app that is, for everybody, you kind of want to create your own brand for it, that's fine too. You can use resources like canva.com to create some graphics and stuff like that. Um, it's okay for free stuff. I mean, I know there's a subscription for that as well. But if you're exporting anything out of there, make sure to export stuff as transparent. So if you have like a logo or anything like that, you want to download it as like a transparent PNG, so like no background. That always that's kind of what I did here for this. I'm sharing nothing. I'm sharing nothing. 1 second. This bearish logo here, it's got a transparent background, so you can see the background color. Also, if you're looking for AI generation on gaming assets and things like that, there's a site called scenario.com, which is relatively decent. You can make your own models, and they also have some models that you can use to kind of create avatars and things like that. It's really how much effort and thought you want to put into what you build this week. But again, it doesn't necessarily have to be bearish themed. Go ahead.
And if it is, I mean, I personally, I'll encourage like using bearish assets. I'm going to pull together, all the stuff we have, logos, even backgrounds like this that you can play with. It's done. It looks pretty, right? And a lot of this stuff we'll be sharing, screenshots over, on Twitter, kind of showing off what people are building. So the prettier, the better. Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. There's a question about, is it easy to make the game rack up transactions on Abstract? So, that gets into a little bit more a complicated situation because each transaction requires gas. So if you're not going to provide a gas station, the user will have to spend gas. So you have to think about what are the mechanics of your game that will require the user to sign a transaction. So in this example, if I had a trivia game and I didn't have maybe I didn't have a 6.9 second timer, I had a little bit longer timer. Maybe it was 10, 15 seconds. But in order to answer the question, they had to submit a transaction. And that would be like a penny per, whatever the gas is, right?
If you're
like
just
that,
signing in, if you're just signing in, it's free. It doesn't cost any gas. Gas is like mostly like if you're like sending on chain stuff.
Right.
Like if
exactly.
you're transferring,
Yeah,
most people probably won't do because
right.
you have to have a smart contract for that, I think, right?
Right. Maybe. Yeah, exactly. So you would need some kind of you'd have to have a little bit more of like a smart contract integration, a reason why you want them to sign additional transactions within the session. But you could set up a kind of like a 24-hour session where they can just keep clicking buttons, kind of similar to like what Noodles does and like what Gotcha Game does. You could potentially employ that if you're trying to create some sort of XP, some kind of way to farm XP. You want to make sure that the transactions that people are doing are meaningful though. So I think that's one of the bigger things to think about. So as you're kind of exploring what it is your mini game is or your app is, think about what the meaningful transaction is, the reason for it, and if you're going to sponsor the gas, like you're going to pay for the gas for people to use it, or is it something that people are going to be fine paying the gas for? But it's like totally said, a simple wallet connect, you can add that to your site if you want to. And it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah. And I would probably, honestly, especially if you're a beginner, outside of signing in with Abstract, we'd probably discourage from any kind of, kind of gas associated stuff like transfers and mints and that kind of thing, because we really haven't touched on security here at all, right? This is something that we have to be mindful as we're like building this stuff, is just thinking about security, right? And if you're asking people to connect their wallet to your thing and approve the use of the Ethereum or something, it's risky. So we'd probably discourage from like that kind of on-chain transaction. Like signing in, again, it's fine, but like sending on-chain stuff, probably at the very least, definitely consult with somebody like Scotty, somebody else that knows like smart contracts, to make sure that you're doing kind of safe stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think for this week, yeah, it's really about getting yourself, acclimated with the tools that are out there and available. Kind of just exploring for yourself, spending like 20, 30 minutes, seeing what you can build with the tools that are there. And then, maybe it becomes an idea that you can build upon uh, more, right? For example, the burn site. I don't know if I have the burn site still in here, but actually I use v0.dev to create the initial mechanics for the, uh, burn the NFT website, right? When we burn Wale and Kicks. But I had just shared that idea with Scotty, and then Scotty handed it off to our graphic design UI UX guy, who actually made it what it looked like. And then Scotty did all the dev work to make all the mechanics work. But what I was able to do was use this for ideation, come up with the idea of how it could potentially work or what it could potentially look like, and then I handed it off to, we handed it off to like the UI UX designer and to Scotty to do all the fun stuff. So I just updated the background to this image um, for fun.
Love it.
But yeah, and the other thing that I like about this too is if you do run into an issue, like you start to get really complex with what you're asking for or what you're building, it will give you error messages here. And if you just click on send it to chat, it's a really great way for you to kind of send any kind of debugging right back into the bot for the bot to fix. If it's really complicated or things like that, it might take a couple times. But when you do get an error on any kind of like soft deployment, I call this soft deployment because it's not fully deployed. It's just in my preview deployment. Um, you can troubleshoot in real time with your bot and get it updated. That will tend to run up the versions pretty quickly. I've gotten to a point with some of the stuff that I built where I have like 27 version 27 because I've been going back and forth on a particular issue. And that's why I like the premium account, because I have unlimited access to my helper friend here to do all those changes that I may need to do.
Love it.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we're on the hour here. So tomorrow is another session. I think it's starting at 11 a.m. So, an hour before this session here, and we'll be diving into using Cursor. Cursor, is another like tool with AI for coding. It's a little bit more, I'd say, complex. Like not as as user friendly as v0.dev, but yeah. So we'll be exploring that. And probably what we'll do is we'll build a game tomorrow, maybe even like a 3D bear shooter game or something like that, together with everybody. So everybody can pitch in their ideas and we'll just build it together. So yeah, make sure that you're in the Bearish Discord, discord.gg/bearish if if you're not in there right now. And I'll get plugged in, and we'll be sending resources, like help guides and all that stuff. And we'll be around to help people with anything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I hope this has been helpful, useful, educational, hopefully fun to see me answer bear questions incorrectly. And I need to go back to bear high school to brush up on my bear history. But no, this is what it's all about. It's just about kind of providing you the tools or showing you the way. But really, your imagination, your creations are really what we want to see this week. So just if you're doing it by yourself, great. If you're doing it with a team, even better. Use the chats that we have set up, the builder chat. Talk with each other. Share what you're doing on X and in Discord. And I mean, if you want to, if you're very secretive and private, I understand. But if you're doing some fun stuff, we'd love to see it. And yeah, tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time. All the events are in the Discord with the links to the streams. Toli will be hosting 3 of them. I'll be hosting 2 of them. And we'll have, Raymar and Scotty on Thursday too. So it should be fun. And yeah, this is really a learning experience, not only for you, but for us as well, because we want to try to learn from this test flight so that we know what we should do or improve upon for our full book builder sprint, which will be coming later. So thank you so much for tuning in.
Can I just add one more thing?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Toli.
Yeah. So to kind of paint the picture of what we're doing here. Like Carlos said, this is our test flight, right? So we're teaching you as much as you're teaching us, right? And wanted to kind of paint the picture of what's to come in the future, right? So, I mean, first of all, we've consistently had over 60 people watching here, close to 70 the entire time, which tells me that people, are very interested in this. Imagine that we had 60 builders inside of Bearish that could build stuff, build games and stuff. Like some of these, are just going to be a hobby just for fun for you to play around. You invite some friends, great. Some of these, like might actually evolve and be integrated into the core, bearish economy, to use Red Berry or another currency. And looking forward to April to May, the rest of the year, we're going to be having sponsored sprints, right? So another builder sprint, but we're going to be building stuff for somebody else. Like you guys know that we have a Pudgy Sync sprint that's coming up. That's probably going to be launching in May. We have another one we're going to be announcing specifically for April for another meme coin that's out there. So they're really excited to build with us. So I mean, if we could get 30, 40, 50, 60 things built for each one, and people make money off it. That's the other thing with these sprints is we're going to be having basically competitions. Again, a lot of these ideas I think will have the potential to move on and be a business or be something that could even potentially get some investment, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, so we're excited to create this community of builders. It's something that's never existed before. This AI coding, vibe coding thing is still very, very new. So we're still learning. We're going to teach you what we know, and yeah, excited to just build something cool with everybody.
Yeah, me too. And because we all have really good ideas, and I want to see those ideas, and this gives us opportunity to just at least visualize them. And shout out to Micro. He used this session to create a dashboard for his product information management project. So he's already with That's zero cool. Coding knowledge. So he's already built something already. So like, this is what we want. We want to just see your ideas. We want to see you just kind of have fun with them. You might run into stumble blocks. You might run into roadblocks, but just keep pounding that AI till it gets to what you want it to be, because that's what it's there for. Right. And it's what's really exciting for me is to see like everybody's ideas come to fruition. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Whoever was the first tip, thank you. Anybody who else tipped, thank you. You didn't really need to do that, but I appreciate it. That was my first tip ever on the stream. So thank you to whoever that was. I'll go back and find you and thank you on Twitter too. But yeah, that's it. That's it for today. We'll go back into the Discord and tune in tomorrow for some more vibe coding with Toli and the rest of the week. So appreciate you. Thanks, Toli, for helping out with this today.
Of course.
All right, I'm gonna play some music and then I'll close the stream. All right, thanks everybody.
Motivated to do it, expose you like a nudist to a brand new level of energy, get on down to it. Connecting with the vibe when we see in our tribe. A lot of drama to survive, but we keeping it live. Ready for action, wanna relax, and I got the passion. Anyone asking, did he mean what he said? Best believe we get it cracking. Picking it apart, state of the art, wisdom we giving and making a mark. If you wanna know, we get it lit with a spark. It's like that from the top to the bottom, know we got 'em, and I'm gonna keep the party rocking with no problem. Free your mind, body, and soul, let the music take control. You know how it goes every single time we flow.
Stay if you want. I'm running, shake what you got. That funny, let's open up and do it right. Hot damn, yeah, you looking pretty. Stay if you want. I'm running, shake what you got. That funny, let's open up and do it right. Hot damn, yeah, you looking pretty. Still